The quote you just read is from my inside guy at JFlowers down at the Florida Distribution Center, and I always love talking to him because he gives me the straight up truth and I love his honesty. I happen to agree with him. Earl the Pearl is the man. He's a legend. So if you guessed that we're going to be talking about the Legend series from jflowerscues.com, you are correct. Most specifically, we're going to be talking about Earl's iteration of that series. This was given to my wife, and I thought, you know what? I scoured YouTube. I couldn't find any videos except for one, and it's literally just one guy running a rack and talking about his experience with the cue. Half of the video is just him talking about the SMO. We're not talking about the SMO today. We're going to be talking about this cue, and I'm going to be giving you my thoughts. We'll try to keep it short and simple and to the point. So let's do it. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Let me get my declaration out of the way so that we can move on to the cue. I am a JFlowers ambassador. I am incredibly biased, but as usual, there is no pressure here. I'm just giving you some options if you're in the market for this type of cue. I'm going to give you some close-up looks. Like I said, no pressure, okay? So let's just get right to it. If you went to jflowerscues.com, nestled beautifully in the middle of that page, you will find the Legends series. So who are the Legends? Earl Strickland, Dennis Arcolo, Rodney Morris, okay? Today, like I said, we're gonna be talking about Earl Strickland's iteration of the Legends cues line. So there are basically four options: black and gray, and then wrapped and wrapless, okay? The cue that my wife ended up deciding on is the black wrapped, okay? So let's start at the bottom. A little bit misleading on the jflowerscues.com site is the butt, right? There's a picture there. It has just a bumper. All JFlowers cues, any line, they all come extension ready bumper, okay? They come with that, so that's what it came with. If you work your way slightly up, you've got a JFlowers, the actual name on one side, and then if you go 180 degrees, JFS, right? So it's just a different logo. Working your way up, you've got this gray or whitish stripe. Then you've got the dollar sign with the American flag that's superimposed on top of the dollar sign. What is the rationale behind that? It is because Earl Strickland is the only person to win $1 million running 11 racks, or about $1 million. That's an interesting story on how that all went down. And if you're interested, I would look it up. He didn't quite get $1 million after the court battle, but he certainly deserved $1 million. So, but we won't get into that. Moving on up, we've got a black ring right before the lizard embossed wrap. Moving on to the wrap, this is something very good job. Unlike, well, my playing cue, the MVP, the pattern on that wrap, it's impossible to hide the line. The seam, this one here, I finally did find it. It's right, it's pretty much impossible to find unless you really stress. I can't tell in this portion of the wrap, but here I can see it finally, right? Really good job on the wrap, okay? So you can't really see the seam and you certainly can't feel the seam, okay? Going above that, you have another black ring that matches the bottom. And then we go to the stripe again, all the way up to the joint. If I turn it 180 degrees, you have Earl Strickland's signature right in the middle of that stripe. And we're gonna be talking a little bit more about that. And then on top, of course, is the joint, right? This cue doesn't come with any sort of special shaft where the shaft would have an inlay, sort of like the SMO shaft. Okay, the SMO shaft has those rings at the bottom to signify that it's an SMO. This one just comes with the classic shaft, or my wife chose to just get the classic shaft. With the classic shaft with this one, interesting that at the very top, the tip, is not the regular standard mooring medium. It came with a Taom Fusion, okay, and that comes standard. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. That's a little bit different from when you regularly get a classic shaft from JFlowers. They usually come with the mooring, and this one came with the Taom Fusion. Now there is a reason why I have these shafts over here on the table, and I wanted to demonstrate to you. So this cue, of course, is a 3/8 by 8 pin. So that is the standard pin basically that JFlowers is going with all their cues, right? On this table here, I have my 3 shafts that I play with. So this right here is an 11.8 millimeter classic shaft. This is the SMO, a beautiful shaft, which is a 12.5 millimeter. And this is the shaft that I've been playing with a lot lately, and that is the Crown. It is a 12.9. Whatever floats your boat, I'll say that a lot in these videos, and it's been floating my boat. What I wanted to do is just basically show you that it really doesn't matter what shaft. This fits beautifully. I can't feel a thing. Let me just throw the SMO on there as well. So the SMO is a huge upgrade. Fits perfectly, right? So I just wanted to, a lot of people are scared. Will the shaft fit my existing JFlowers butt, or is it interchangeable? These shafts are absolutely interchangeable. There's my 11.8 classic. Everything is perfect. Everything's fine. Of course, it comes with the joint protectors. I forgot to mention that at the start. And JFlowers was nice enough to throw an extension in when they sent it. So just love the options and love the accessibility to changing things up, right? So when you do order this, you don't have to go with the classic shaft. You can go with any sort of shaft in their line. What would I recommend? Like I just said, the SMO is quite the upgrade, right? You're paying over $200. I think it was $220. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's around there. If you want to upgrade to that, that goes on top of this price. This, the Crown shaft, is only, I believe, $70 upgrade. And there's something to be said. There's something to be said about the 12.9 millimeter, right? That's a conversation for a different video, but I have really been digging the Crown shaft. All right, let's talk price, okay? You'll notice that this is about $475, right? Which is more expensive than, let's say, the next generation cues on the website. Why is that? Well, I've already hit on one of them, the tip, okay? That's a Taom Fusion that comes stock with this line of cues. It's better than a Mori. Okay, I don't know what happened with Mori. It's literally one of the first layered tips that I ever played with, and it was a game changer. But somewhere along the road of life, Mori's just not the same. I don't play with them. I think they're garbage. That's my personal opinion. So the fact that this comes with the Taom Fusion, it's an upgrade. So there's going to be a little bit of a price change there. The next one is the matte finish. Okay, so I got this from my insider down in Florida, and the matte finish takes a little bit more time in production instead of just the glossy finish that you get on most cues. It just takes a little bit more care, and so that's going to add to the cost because there's more production cost to it. The big one is the name, Earl Strickland. So whenever a professional lends their name to a cue, there's a cost associated, right? That's how the company pays the pro, okay? Not to mention that this is a limited edition. So I got from my guy down in Florida that there's no plans on discontinuing this right now. However, in the future, it will be discontinued and it becomes instantaneously a collector's item. So there's a premium to that, right? You're not paying that much more. And if you're interested in this color scheme, then you just go for it and you pull the trigger, right? I am not a fan of the next generation cues simply because of all the, well, I called it in the past, they look busy, right? This cue is not busy. It's black. It's very simplistic, but it's tasteful. in that regard, right? You've got the Earl Strickland S with the American flag symbolizing the money that he won, and you've got his signature with a stripe. It's very, very simple, okay? But as all things go in this world, when we play pool, whatever floats your boat. Let's talk performance here, and like I said, I'm incredibly biased. This is a JFlowers cue. Of course, it performs well. It's amazing, okay? The Taom Fusion tip, I've hit on it already. It's gonna hit better than a Mori medium, so thank you JFlowers for adding that little bit of extra when my wife ordered this. It's an upgrade, okay? The feedback that you get from this tip is way better than the Mori, okay? My personal favorite is the Taom Medium Pro. That's right in my wheelhouse, but this isn't a tip video, okay? This performance in this cue is phenomenal. As far as I know, the butt construction, other than the finish, it's not any different from any other JFlowers cue, okay? It's got carbon infused stripes. I'll put a picture up to show you guys, right? As far as I know, that's not any different than any other butt in the JFlowers line. So because of those three things that I mentioned earlier in the video, the tip, the matte finish, and the name, that's the only things that are accounting for the price difference, right? But performance-wise, it feels phenomenal in my hand, and the feedback that I get, the lack of vibration, the sound, go down the list. This is a great, great cue. That's it, everybody. If you went to jflowerscues.com, you would see the weights and you would see measurements. I've done all that stuff in the background. Everything checks out. But you will always get a certificate of authenticity from jflowerscues.com, right? So there's that. There's no worries. If by chance something that I said to you in this video convinced you to pull the trigger on this product, you can support my channel by using my link, which is right there. And it's in the description. That really helps my channel out. It provides me the opportunity of bringing in more products to review here. So that is that. That's everything. Good luck in your search for your next cue. In the meantime and in between time, I will catch you on the flip side. Check you later.